guys, welcome back for the penultimate time. This is above average FPL. Well, penultimate time this season. This is above average FPL. My name's Adam, and as always, thank you very much for coming back. Joined by Baker. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Very well, mate. Bit sleepy,
Sun-kissed?
bit sun-kissed, bit jet lagged, all the rest of it. But yes, not glad to be home,
No, of course
but
not.
home nonetheless. Yeah,
Good, mate. Good, mate. So it was a good week then, yeah? From what I saw anyway, it looked like a really good fun week.
stunning. Yeah. Out in Arizona for a week. New appreciation for what it's like playing FPL over there because the West Coast, it's so hard in terms of collating with England because they're like 8 hours behind, and therefore you miss all the day in the UK because like at 5 p.m. it's 9 a.m. So you're sleeping, then they're sleeping, or they're sleeping, then you're sleeping type thing. And then trying to play FPL is bloody hard. Like the Tottenham game kicked off at like 4:30 in the morning. So deadline's 3 in the morning.
2:30, wouldn't it?
No, 12:30, hour and
Oh,
a half.
sorry, no, sorry, yeah. So
Yeah.
3 in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, so deadline for this week was 3 a.m. You wake up, and a game. It's quite. I mean, Tottenham have ruined many a weekend for me quite early on, but to ruin it by 7 a.m. is a special feat. And then you're straight into, straight into the 7 a.m. and you're straight into all the next round of games. I mean, it's all done by midday, so that's nice in a strange way. But like they're midweek games during the week, like they're on while you're working. It is a much newfound appreciation. We spend a lot of time sweating over deadline streams and all those type of stuff, and it's like, God, it's tough over there to try and do any of that stuff. So fair play. Those that live on the West Coast. I mean anywhere, I suppose, outside of our time zones. They have to work hard.
I'm just listening to, I don't know whether I've just got really, really loud all of a sudden.
You have just got really loud.
Really loud. Because people are saying that I'm too far away from the mic or something like that. I don't know. I'm just fiddling with buttons. I've had a little bit of a
Oh,
nightmare.
that
Just let me know,
that
guys.
sounds
Is that better or not? Because the microphone is literally like right here.
that sounds fine for me,
Yeah.
but it
It
does
should
for
be. It
me.
should be
But
good now because I'm now in the yellow on OBS, so that's the same as you, which should be good.
okay,
I hope. But please tell me if that's any different. If it is different, then I'll switch back to what I was using before. It's just I've had a little problem with the microphone over the weekend, and I just need to figure a few things out. Good thing it's the end of the season coming up, I guess, more than anything. Oh,
yes,
get these problems now. But yeah.
yeah.
How's the game week?
I mean, even that, like being away, is hard to try and get my head around. But
Can't work it out.
yeah, it's
Sound is better.
obviously
We're good.
we got the Newcastle Leicester game on right now, and I've just got Isak from it, so depends what Wilson and Trippier do, I suppose. Got away with it a little bit. Bruno Cap, um, not much else for me.
Fair
Some
enough.
short points.
I've done all right, to be fair. I've done all right. 45 points. Feels like a good week to have 45 points. But, I mean, I've been waiting on this green arrow for God knows how long now.
How are you saying this? How are you saying this before whilst you're not scared of this Newcastle game? Like Wilson's like 50% owned and Trippier's 50% owned and Isak's like 30% owned.
I've got Pope, so I'm covered defense
Oh,
wise.
okay.
So I've
You
got
have
some
got both.
semi protection there at least to cover me from Trippier because Trippier doesn't get, well, he does get assists, doesn't he?
You literally just capped him for two.
Yeah, I literally just did captain him last week, didn't I? Thank God I did as well because that would have been an absolute nightmare. But yeah, so I've got 46 now, I suppose, live. Again, you're right, Shaw points but Alvarez and Ferguson though, the boys on the thumbnail.
Alvarez and Ferguson.
That is why they're on the
Smashed.
thumbnail. That is why they're on the thumbnail. Has nothing to do with the fact that
Absolutely
Arsenal have won
nothing.
the title. Arsenal have not won the title.
Nothing. Ferg's on the thumbnail. I would not deliberately put bottles in the pit. Like I wouldn't do that sort of thing. You wouldn't catch me like drinking from a bottle or just putting bottles in the thumbnail just for cosmetic reasons.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
just happens.
Just happens. Yeah, so I'm on like 46. Green arrow up to like 223, it says on the screen, but it's probably increasing a little bit now. Yeah, just looking forward to next week. Hopefully, I mean, I think just to get... Well, no, next week's a fun week because everyone's punting, right? So it feels like everyone's coming into my zone and is going to feel the pain of bringing in a player that they think could do well and do absolutely fuck all. So that's my fun plan is to punt with everyone. I might go slightly different to everyone else, well, which is pretty normal.
You're going to be a massive punt.
Oh, it's going to be huge.
You are going to be a massive punt next week.
Yeah. I see what you're doing there as well.
Sounds okay.
Yeah, let's just do the quick plugs and then get onto the games. Again, this week, there's not loads to take from it because we're only looking at like 1 week in the future, but we can just talk about teams, momentum, beach, all that sort of stuff. So, as always, Above Average FPL is supported by Crypto Block Dan. Dan has supported us all for the last 2 seasons. Been absolutely fantastic. Dan, thank you for your support. And if you want to help us to help Dan, go follow Dan. Ask him about crypto. Ask him about the use cases of crypto. At Crypto Block Dan on Twitter, go drop him a follow. Go drop him a message for any questions that you do have. Wonderful guy and is now beating me in FPL. So, yay. And of course, all of our data plots are coming from Sertalp. Sertalp, if you don't know Sertalp, then drop him a follow on Twitter at SertalpBilal. He has the FPL optimized website and podcast, and just go drop him a follow. Go check out all his content as well. Just a wonderfully nice person as well. He's a treasure in the community.
He's a treasure.
He's an absolute
genius,
treasure.
Mate.
And yeah, just Discord. If you want to come and join us on Discord, patreon.com/above average FPL. Not going to plug it any more than that because end of the season and stuff. But June's free. So yeah, if you want to come and join us, join now. June's free. Job done. And we'll all be good for the next season. So
June's free. Then we get on to the planning. And look, last 2 seasons, we've done really well at the start of seasons. So we're pretty good at that bit.
Yeah.
Maybe quite not so good at finishing the season, so maybe not.
Oh, you've
but
been fine,
we're
man.
pretty good at that, mate.
You've been fine
pretty good at that bit.
Last few years.
Yeah.
And this year's been a full year. So I just can't remember whether I've set up the wheel. I think I've set up the wheel. Hold on. It'd be a disaster if I haven't set up the wheel. Hold on a second.
What a disaster. All right.
I reckon it's there. I haven't checked if it's there, but I'm going to just... There it is.
This is my fault. It's my fault for delaying us a day, but I was never getting away with flying back in yesterday and podding straight away last night.
Absolutely zero chance.
Zero chance on that one.
And that's fair enough, right? That's fair enough. You got to expect that. So, forgot to say shout out to all the YouTube guys watching us this evening. 28 of you already. Obviously, there's a game on. Newcastle versus Leicester is just coming up to half time, roughly, and so yeah, there's still stuff going on in the game. Let's spin it and see how we get on. Let's see where we want to start. I haven't. You don't know any of these actually, so you see if you. I mean, some of them are easy, some of them are a bit more difficult. Bet you expected.
Is it straight in with us?
Straight in.
God, straight in with us.
And annoyingly, this is the best. That is the best large photo of Bumo that I could find, and it is fucking terrible. Yeah. I mean, I thought we were all right first half, especially. I thought we moved the ball around nicely. I thought Bissouma was decent, and we created chances. I mean, obviously Kane scores a ridiculous goal, absolutely ridiculous goal.
Does it go down as a free kick? Because I know everyone says he hasn't scored a free kick goal for like 10 years. Does he get that as a free kick goal?
It's not a direct free kick as far as I'm concerned. No chance. I
don't know. I don't know what rules are now.
I don't think it is. It probably goes down as a set piece goal, but it doesn't go down in there as a direct free kick.
Okay.
Oh my, how has Wilson not scored there?
Oh.
But no, back to Tottenham. Back to Tottenham. So
Back to Tottenham.
yeah,
Kane scores.
Kane scores. Son has a chance. Danjuma has a chance. I mean, Son has another chance, and then Decky has a chance right before half time. It could have been 3-0. Quite easily could have been 3-0. Raya's a good keeper, and Rico Henry was on something. Like, he was quality. And then second half, we're just a bit naive at the start, and Boomer makes us pay. I mean, he's obviously 20 times quicker than Ben Davis, and you just take advantage of that, and away you go, right? So
yeah.
something like that happens, and then
I think you just see you can't survive in this league without a keeper, and Fraser Forster isn't really a keeper. like Hugo's not been a keeper for a long time, and Fraser Forster, he's okay, but he's never gonna beat his expected particularly often on anything, and do stuff. So when Bumo gets slot in down the side, it's still, you just expect him to score. Whereas if that was up against Rye, you wouldn't have expected them to score. You would expect him to do something about it. And you see those two late headers and stuff, and Rye is just a world-class keeper, and all momentum just falls out of you when your keeper's just not good enough. Like, Bumo scores 2 goals there, and look at them. Look at the XG on them: 0.16, 0.07.
Yeah.
You don't. Even if they are, like, it's easier to finish against the keeper when you know if you put it in the corner, he ain't getting it.
Yeah.
That's what kills us. I know they talk about not putting a game together, but so much of it's game state. We have to buy a keeper. We have to buy a keeper. We've got to buy a lot of things, but we have to buy. Well, we should just buy David Raya.
Yeah,
he's got a set price of. He's going to run out his contract next season. They've put a £40 million price tag on his head. Just buy David Raya because he's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, he does it. It does it every game. He's superb. He's got 4 points in this game week, and Kepa's got 2 so far. And I expect him to outscore Kepa by the end of it. Probably outscore Ederson again.
Ederson's played, so yeah.
Yeah. He's FPL gold. He's a top keeper. Bumo's a very, very good player. Be interested if we get Bumo for like 6.5 again next season.
Because he'll be their main man, right? I mean, I'd imagine they'd want to try and strengthen a bit because they're not going to get Tony back until January.
Yeah.
Mid-Jan. So
how much they do, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I suspect they'll go for a more efficient route, maybe a more experienced guy that they think they can rely on to play
and then just
through the season.
And then just bin him off. Someone you can just get in and get out.
Yeah, they've not been afraid to get.
Go on.
Well, they've not been afraid to get sort of experienced guys. Ben Mee came in, obviously, when Burnley went down. Maybe they go shopping. Bamford, someone like him.
Nacho.
Nacho.
Wouldn't Southampton. Just trying to think of a Southampton player there. No,
wouldn't surprise me if they went and got someone relatively cheap and kept them in. But Bumo, he's a really good asset. Still, they're a really good team. We're just a mess.
Frustrating, and
any temptation at all to bring?
No.
Okay.
No.
No Kane, temptation.
I mean, I would have to.
So let's just put that out there early on. There's a leak that Haaland's not going to play.
Yeah, then Kane comes in. I think Kane just comes in for a hit.
Would you, for a hit, would you prioritise it over?
I'm having my other punt first. That's me anyway. I want my Everton defender.
You want your Everton defender? Wow, of course you do. Is it Mina? Can we call it out now?
It might be Tarko, to be honest.
Fantastic.
We'll get to Everton.
If you brought Kane in this week, let's just say Holland's out and Kane comes in, would you cap him at least?
Yeah, probably.
I think I would.
Probably.
Just because, well, we're not like a
Let's just
huge
enjoy
bit
the,
of
let's
it,
enjoy the
but
last day.
just in
Or I
like
might just captain the
Leeds,
Everton defender, to be honest. I'll just go full whack and captain the Everton defender.
maybe that is the way.
Maybe that's the
Maybe
way.
it is the way. But I'm not ruling out like that's one of the reasons I think to hold on to a transfer if you're not definitely going to hit. Is that could be oh, Wilson's just missed another sitter.
Beautiful.
Wow. Um, that's a potential cap shout.
Cool.
Other than that, don't touch the line and see what happens in the summer.
You don't think that just somebody said about somebody said in the chat like it's a shame Bumo's got City. Is that do we think that's a shame? Because me and Pras were talking about this last week, and I think Pep will want to put decent squad out in the second game week in 37. Right? He obviously rested everyone, gave everyone some minutes, etc. But De Zerbi's this up and coming manager that's playing a fantastic style of football, and I feel like psychologically Pep will, now that he's over the line, Pep will just want to test himself against that and just see if he can do one over on Brighton with enough recovery time to deal with FA Cups and Champions Leagues later down the way.
I thought that would be the case. I did think that would be the case. But then he basically just said that they're all out on the piss last night.
Well, maybe.
He's literally just said, we're all out on the piss. We're all going to see what happens. And then we'll work it out for the 2 cup finals. And yeah. But like, he's always next game. And he wasn't next game. He was like, well, yeah, we've got a couple other games, but it's all about the 2 cup finals now. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised. I also think because he respects De Zerbi and thinks that they need to be on it, it wouldn't surprise me if he throws it against De Zerbi rather than get beat by him. And then if they get beat, well, it was the kids anyway. Matter. Yeah, so it totally wouldn't surprise me. I don't think we're getting 2 first choice cities, so I do think it is one of the 2 now. Yeah, that's very nice. I think we've all got decisions to make if he does play everybody on Wednesday night or Thursday night, whenever it is.
Whenever it is. Who cares? It's happening.
It's happening.
Let's move on because we're going to move on.
Because we're going to talk about 99th minute Mina.
99th minute Mina, yeah. There wasn't much else from this game, to be honest. I mean, I know Hwang obviously scores. Quite simple tap-in, good counter-attack. Everton basically just turn into just throwing everything at them, like ridiculous. But
I did have the delights in America. This one of the opposite of what we have here is that it was 7 a.m. kickoff for the free game, and the Bournemouth United game was the game we were watching, and that finished, and then they shoot straight to the other game, and they went. So we got to see the last 10 minutes of this. And the guy I was rooming with is an Everton fan, and he was the most miserable man in the world. And then pre 9 a.m, we're running around the room when Mina put that in. It was absolutely brilliant. I mean,
I feel like Everton are the one where you need to go this week, just because we've seen in the last 5-6 weeks that they're good at putting up chances, right? Lots of chances.
They do get some chances.
And they have to score, right? They have to win against Bournemouth. There's absolutely no other option for them except winning against Bournemouth. That's it. Calvert-Lewin's racked up 3 XG over the last 6 games. Obviously, one of those was a penalty. McNeil, 2 XG over the last 6. Some of these defender ones are a bit mad. Like Mina's 1.22. That's big for a defender. Holgate, 0.7. I mean, Tarkovsky's 0.5. I mean, this is over the last 6. So you just think that any header is like 0.1. So they're getting the chance a game, like each one of them. And like, what do you see here? You see a scramble come out to Tarkovsky, who puts it inside to Mina, and it's like, these are big boys as well. Everton got some big boys in there. I mean, who is it? It was either Joe or it was General that tweeted out, it was like, who's going to be your Everton player or something like that. And I was like, well, Connor Cody. He's the sort of person that you could, if he played, right? But It's the sort of place I could see it.
I'm not going to try and talk you in or out of an Everton defender. It's last game week. Decore's one I definitely think is. I think he could be the more fun one. I think if DCL's
0.8
done, then Decore pushes further and further and further forward, and we know that he's the one that can score. Like, I love the idea of. I can see a lot of people thinking, well, Brighton midfielder to Decore is quite an easy way to go. In 38, I can see that. I can see that for a lot of people.
McNeil's going to carry that torch, isn't he, though?
Yeah, I think they will, but if you're going to punt, like, do the goal scorer. McNeil is going to put in 20 crosses in the game, and it's like, I want the guy who gets the header. I want the guy who gets the dong. That's what you want.
That's why I want the centre back.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it more, and they'd be fighting for their lives for keeping the clean and all the rest of it. It's all potential, Pickford, if anyone needs a keeper the last game week, like, he came up for the corner. You never know; it might be him that gets in the end of it. Wolves are proper leaky though. Like, this isn't the last. They're averaging like well over. But they are last 6 games. I think they've conceded now like 12 XG in the last 6 games.
Which is why Bentley's come in for Sarr. Well,
Which is why Bentley's come in for Sarr.
You say no. Actually, hold on. Let's put that into perspective. XG doesn't belong to the goalkeeper. It's not his fault that
no.
chances. So,
but that's something that they are leaking. Yeah. They are leaking on these ones. So I know a lot of people may be considering an Arsenal punt in these ones, and I think there is worth noting that's 12 XG in 6 games they've conceded. I know a lot of people probably put off Arsenal for these reasons, but I don't think you need to worry so much about Wolves. I think, if you're looking at Beach now, they could well be on it.
Yeah.
We'll spin it and talk about it when we get to them, but there probably is still a punt there in the Arsenal ranks.
Potentially. Let's move on. Let's get back to the wheel. I've completely lost the wheel. Where did it go? It's there. It's on screen. Don't worry, I know it's on screen. Just have to find it on my computer as well. On the brink. What game was this? I can't remember.
Man United?
No, it's
not.
The
Champions League?
It's not. It's West Ham Leeds. It's Leeds. Leeds are on the brink.
Leeds are on the brink, and West Ham are.
I just didn't want to put leggy. I just didn't want to put leggy because they're just not. They're just flying at the moment.
How much do you? Yeah, it's difficult. How much do you put this? West Ham having massively picked up recently, and Leeds just bad.
I don't know. I mean, West Ham rotated a lot last week. Like last week, they changed. They had wholesale changes last week. So
they still made 6 changes for this game.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot of changes.
Was that game v game, or do you mean game versus Europa game?
Yeah, game versus Europa game. So they are still making a fair amount of changes each game.
It doesn't really surprise me. They've always had that weird front 5 of fancy little players, and they've just sort of added to it with Paqueta now, I guess. Paqueta,
I mean, he's been brilliant.
Lanzini, Fornals, Benrahma. I mean, just keep going on about these small, nippy little forwards. They've got plenty of them.
I'm just I've been sort of one eye on Newcastle here. The amount of chances that Trippier's, creating, just putting set piece after set piece in. Bowen as the final day of the season punt?
I don't hate it. I mean, I can't see. Well, you think Moyes will play him? You think they've got a European final to look forward to as well? How long have they got between them? Do you know? When is the final? It's like 2 weeks, isn't it?
I think it's plenty of time.
It's like 2 weeks, isn't it?
It must be. It must be.
Oh, it's 7th of June, so they've got like 10 days.
Yeah, I think they do play them all.
Yeah. They've got to.
Keep it up. Bowen. I'm tempted. I've got like because I did Salah to Bruno, I've got loads of money. I've got I could go back Bruno back to Salah. I could spend any of my midfielders up to any of the Brighton guys up to about 9 million, and then a whole window of different players that can afford. You kind of want to spend the money on the guy. If you haven't already got your captain, you kind of want to spend it on a captain. So I am sort of looking at it, trying to work it through. But like for a non-owned player at all, I'm like, maybe I could captain Bowen in the last game of the season. There's a lot of people that have got, you Grealish and Mahrez. If they play Wednesday night, again, they're an easy move to them. I mean, from this West Ham and Leicester game, kind of assumed I was going to bring Maddison in if I was going to bring one from that team. Him not playing, like, what on earth does that mean?
Nobody knows.
He's been wearing the armband, mate. And then him and Barnes don't play.
I don't know. Stupid, isn't it?
First half here, Newcastle had over 80% possession. I don't understand what Dean Smith's doing. Dean Smith secretly, like his old Villa allegiance, is just trying to take him down.
I was just going to say, did he not realise they actually have to win tonight? Is that like a draw?
I guess
is he gambling on this West Ham game? Is that what he's doing? That's a big fucking gamble, that is.
Well, if they do need to win that game, it kind of...
You froze them for a second. You said if you do need to win that game,
then I kind of want Bowen even more.
Yeah.
Like if they've got a win, because they've got the best goal difference, haven't they? Out of the teams at the bottom, but they're 3 points about behind Everton.
Yeah, they will be if they lose tonight. Yeah. Yeah.
Is he hoping if he gets a draw, then as long as Everton don't win and they win on the weekend? I don't know what he's doing. We'll probably finish this part by the time we finish it that they've ended up winning at Newcastle. But but the more open they are, the more more they need to win. The more tempted I am that Bowen over Maddison could be the punt if you were looking at something from that game.
Yeah.
Leeds, so Bamford's injured. Rodrigo.
Good
he
finish.
is against Spurs.
What a finish that was, by the way.
What a finish.
Yeah, I'm not touching him. I'm sorry, I'm not touching him.
It's too much, isn't it?
Yeah, it's too far. It's too far. I mean, the thing is that you do know is they've scored in their last 12 games, something like that. They've scored in every game. When was the last time they didn't score?
And they are playing Tottenham.
And they are playing Tottenham. Exactly. That's one thing. So the last time they didn't score was the first game in March against Chelsea. Jesus. Well, yeah. So
if I was a Leeds fan, I'd bring Rodrigo in and cap him all day long.
Andy Martin, if you're listening. Rhino.
Andy Martin, if you're listening, you've got
Rodrigo
to do it.
Yeah. Cool.
Got to do it.
Let's move on from these because we're not really going anywhere, are we?
We're just picking. We're looking through. Is there any bones to pick from it? So far we've got an Everton defender, maybe Kane. We've got Bowen.
They're a brave young team.
Brave young team. I got nothing.
Arsenal, brave young team. Didn't bottle it. Brave young team.
Young team.
Tottenham 7 points behind Chelsea 5 years ago, bottled it. But Arsenal, brave young team. Brave young team.
Look, there's only one or two things. Either they bottled it or they weren't good enough. And I do think more they're not good enough for it. I'm going to put it that way. If you go,
I think they're good. I think they were good enough. Look, I know. Go on, you make your point.
Maybe they were good enough, but I don't think they are good enough. And I feel like they lost their identity a little while back. We talked about them and how they play. And weirdly, they lost their identity and everybody else has copied it. So in the first half of the season, it's really obvious, how they played. You had three at the back. One of the fullbacks comes in to slot alongside Partey, so you had two. Then you had a bank of four, and then you had a striker. So you play 3-2-4-1. I mean, I heard it yesterday, like being held up like it was transformational that Man City have moved to a 3-2-4-1 for the last 3 months and have been sensational. And you're like, what, the same format, exact same formation that Arsenal played for the first half of the season
when they were incredible.
when they were incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Liverpool
Have
for the
just
last
moved
10
to.
game weeks, 3-2-4-1. It's exactly the formation they play. 3-2, move the guys out for one striker.
Yeah.
They play 3-2-4-1. This ain't new. Like even any of the teams, Brighton, you try to name what their formation is, it's quite difficult. I think R1. But even like the three at the back teams like us, the reason we don't play well enough is because of the four. We play 3 and 2, but the four's not right. It gets a bit weird, and therefore we have holes and it falls apart. Arsenal are not playing 3-2-4-1 and haven't been playing 3-2-4-1 for some time. The Trossard thing did ruin a lot of balance because he doesn't stay. When you think about the 3-2-4-1, it was so well disciplined. You had Martinelli, then you had Xhaka, then you had Odegaard, then you had Saka, and it was them four. As soon as Trossard started coming in, although he was playing really well, the shape's gone. And then you put Georgie. I mean, I don't know. I saw some of that first half, but Partey was sort of playing right back, and then
It was weird.
It was so all distant everywhere and confusing, and therefore. When you're a team that plays as a well-oiled machine, and the reason why everyone thought they were going to win the league is because they were so well-oiled, and somewhere along the line, they stopped doing it. They stopped doing it, and they couldn't manage it. And the people that came in weren't able to slot in and play the same way.
Yeah.
The difference you see at Man City is when they play midweek to the play on the weekend, whoever comes in, they still play that system.
Yeah.
They play that system, and you're picking means to do it. That for
It's
some reason,
it's a more mature squad. I know there's a few new players. There's a couple of new players in the City. I mean, City's core is basically the 10 that they had last season plus Haaland, right? So it's a well bedded in team. If they need to adjust tactically, if Pep needs to get them all in and change something, they will pick that up pretty quickly. There's been, as you say, a few changes at Arsenal. Yes, they're a young side, and their squad is not as deep as City. So when you do take out like Saliba, for example, who was just like a mainstay, calm head at the back there, and then you enter in Trossard, who's head, he's basically the equivalent of Harvey Barnes for me. In
It's
terms
like
of the way
he's like a 7-year-old Harvey Barnes. You know what I mean? He just like follows the ball, runs off where he wants. You're like, is that Odegaard? Nah, it's Trossard. He's decided to go over there.
No, you're right. And they were so disciplined at the start of the season. They used to cut. They came out first 15 of each half, and they would smash teams to pieces. There'd be 2 goals up, and then they just didn't. And then did they not? Was it they didn't concede in the last 15 minutes at all? They just killed games off completely, and it was really mature.
All of it was so regimented, so well drilled, and it's why I say not good enough more than that is that the guys that came in just couldn't keep it going for them.
Yeah.
Bringing players in like Trossard and Jorginho who haven't been with them pre-season, you kind of just get the player they are, and they'll just come in and do what they do. They're not really in the system. They're just going to do the good stuff that they can, and they're good players, but they're just not the players that were fitting just that unbelievable machine. It just wasn't enough. For him. Saliba just killed him.
Yeah.
And Ramos has been either unbelievable this season, or he's just been a bit weak.
Yeah.
And he needs to he's still a young keeper. They just need to be much more consistent.
Yeah. And they've got people chasing them next season now. Everyone's catching up. Everyone's want to play catch up now. There's money coming in and all sorts of stuff. So
yeah,
this game, I want 5-3 now. He's just
we talked about him when we did our bonus pod, and he is a beast. He is a beast of a striker. I'd love him to be cheap. I would love him to be cheap again. He could easily be you
He'll be
know,
our
a steal a
Pookie
game.
Mitro type guy and third
Yeah,
striker nailed.
he hogs chances. He looks like he score more than he does. It's perfect. It's exactly what you want for him. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they might buy 25 more players again in the summer. So who knows who you get? But we shouldn't lose the fact that Gibbs White's a really good player.
Oh,
Taiwo's a really good player.
it's weird. Gibbs White's one of those players, though. I mean, I feel like if he went anywhere else, he wouldn't look as good. Kind of big fish, small
Yeah,
pond type thing. Just
he's still really young though.
he
Like,
is. I think it's the tash, isn't it? You just assume he's
yeah,
like 40 years
yeah,
old.
yeah. He's still really young. I still remember, you know, when I first saw him at Wolves, thinking that this is an absolute baller,
Yeah.
and then worried it wasn't going to happen. And he's there now, and I do feel he gets better when they get better, and with better players, he'd only be better. So I think they're good.
I keep giggling at this. I keep looking at this Jesus when he comes up on the screen, just looking at those four chances. Just bad finish, bad finish, bad finish, bad finish as
Yeah,
it crops up.
it's bad finish. Yeah, just let's not forget it. When we get the prices next season, let's just not forget it.
He'll be 9 million next season.
Bad finisher.
Moving on. Moving on. We very much enjoyed Arsenal not winning the league. Let's just say that.
Yes.
We
Well,
are.
we
We
ain't got
are.
much else. We ain't got much else, mate. We have to take joy in other people winning that are not Arsenal.
X-Men's winner
Are we claiming a win? Are we? Because we had Bruno.
so far. So far.
Fair play.
I
Fair
see.
play. I'm trying to claim this.
Yeah. I tell you, the funniest thing about this is I. So Tottenham had obviously lost. I pissed off to the driving range. I was like, can't be asked for this. And then saw that Shaw was on the bench, and I was like, you got to be joking me. No, Shaw got injured in the warm up. Sorry, is what I heard. So I literally at that point, phone went down. I was like, forget this, can't be asked. Came back 85th minute, and I checked FPL, and he's like on 3 bonus. And I'm like, what has he done? That can't be right.
Yeah, no, I missed all that bit because I was
Asleep or something like that.
Spurs, and then I was
Oh,
asleep.
you
But yeah,
are.
apparently got injured in the warm up or something like
Well,
that.
somebody
Bear in
Prasley said he
mind,
needed a shit or something like that. I don't know whether that's true. Hobbling down the
let's just
tunnel
say
like he's done his hamstring, and he's actually just holding one in.
let's claim it there. Let's claim it there. So I watched this game. I mean, glutton for punishment. Watched this game. I got in at about 3:30 or something. It was 7 a.m. So like 3.5 hours later. I'm sort of watching it one-eyed, but like just hoping for some kind of Bruno chance, something that was going to happen. And as we say about X minutes on Bruno, but you know, as games go on, that last 30 minutes is always Bruno time. We were bloody unlucky. I mean, the volley that Neto saves, yeah, good save, good keeper. And because I watched it over there, I was watching it live, didn't see if they showed it on Match of the Day or anything. But McTominay could have just slot him through, so they were. It was like a massive overload. He'd gone out to play right wing because Anthony had got off, and he was just standing there, just waiting to tap it in. And McTominay just decides not to square it. And I was like, fuming.
Yeah.
Fuming. That nothing better than a late captain goal, is there? Like an 8-pointer
Well,
late
it's
captain
probably because
goal.
I captain, to be honest. Because when I don't cap Bruno or when I don't own Bruno in a double, he scores last minute goals. That's what he does. So apologies, I guess, from me to you and to everyone. Sorry.
Yeah, but we'll go with it. We'll go with it. We're still in the game. See how it plays out. They still need 1 point, don't they?
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think Rashford plays midweek?
Probably. Probably. If it was illness, I'd imagine it would be. He would just play. I can't. I
Yeah.
can't see why he wouldn't. Yeah.
It's mad when you watch
enjoy
him.
it. I did enjoy all the left, right, and centre and whatever else from the. Is he on the bus? No, he's not on the bus. He's ill, so he probably travelled on his own and then just not there at all.
It's chaos, isn't it?
Yeah.
With
We're not moving players off though, are we? We're not moving United players off with Fulham at home.
don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. It's difficult, isn't it? Like to expect it. I mean, we might hear stuff that says definitely, but it's a very difficult one to do because you think all their players are just going to want to make sure is that they give themselves a chance to play in the cup final. So you think it's their audition, you know. So they all want to play. I thought they were. thing is, I thought Tony Marshall was pretty good up top. I mean, he does suck a lot of stuff to him. It does look like he's just gone way too nuts on the weights. So he just makes him look like he's just bumbling around at the top there. But obviously he come off early. I mean, Anthony and Sancho are like 180 million pound of wingers. And you're like disappointed when they play.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird. Like I'd love to see Garnacho and Rashford play rather than those two play. I'd love to see Garnacho get games above them. But I mean, they're still both very, very young in the season for it. But Garnacho, I mean, he could be a punt if there was a league that said Garnacho was starting last game, because he just, when he comes on, he ups their pace so much. Because otherwise, there's only really Rashford that stretches teams.
Yeah. Youthful exuberance. He's just eager, isn't he?
Oh, there's something special about Garnacho. You can just see it. You can see it when he's on the team. I mean, like it feels like Martinelli the season before Martinelli sort of broke through. A lot about him of this guy that's going to be on the left but doesn't want to be on the left and will score a fair amount of goals. Yeah, not going to punt on any of them, but yeah, if you've got Shaw, you're playing him. If you've got any other players, you're playing them in the last game of the season. Bruno, could you cap him, Bruno?
Yeah, you can cap Bruno. There's lots of options for captaincy this week. Lots of options.
Definitely not a terrible option.
No. Before we carry on, just if you're enjoying the content at the moment, make sure you drop a like on the video. If you're watching live, hit like. That'd be great. Thanks. And if you want to see our content again next season, then drop a subscribe and you'll get notifications when we go live again. I mean, how long are we taking off? Taking off a month, probably, until the game starts?
We'll get itchy after about a week, mate. What are you pretending we're going to take a month off?
It's got to be a few weeks off at least.
Why are you pretending it? I'll tell
because
you.
I'm the one that does all the fucking graphics, and it's even more difficult at the start of the season when there's more.
I'll give it about 3 days. We'll start thinking, we could do some end of season reviews on this and that.
No, next week is end of season review, couple of beers and whatever else. We'll figure out whether it's going to be Sunday evening. I think it should be, but
we'll see how little we do in June.
Oh, champions. This one's pretty straightforward. The exhibition game.
What a taker. It's unbelievable. 11 points.
6
Truly.
saves. Top bonus.
Good saves too.
Yeah. A few good saves as well in there. Don't know whether did he get the one that came off the post? I don't know. Must have done.
Yeah, I was trying to work out whether that was a save or not. Would it have gone in or not off there? Because surely, the only way it could hit him would be if it wasn't going to go in. But I'm not sure. Not sure on that one.
I don't know. But this was purely exhibition. I mean, obviously City made a million changes. They're the strongest bench the league's ever seen, and yeah, it was just played at a canter, really, wasn't it?
What else can you take from
even
it?
Chelsea played it at a canter for most of it, to be honest. I was watching some of it and just watching the complete lack of tempo out of possession by Chelsea. It was just like, nah, I can't be bothered to even try and chase this down.
Yeah, I do think there's a bit of once Man City rested everyone, it was almost like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's just get this done. Sterling could have done the goals, but didn't. I don't even know what else you can read from it other than, yeah. What if
I was a bit disappointed? A bit disappointed that Mahrez handballed it, because
I was a bit disappointed.
You'd have got Mahrez points. I'd have had Alvarez points. Would have been great.
There's definitely something in this shape for learning for us, is that the wingers, we can't talk about being in the front three for City anymore, because it's not a front three. So all season I've been looking to get a second piece of the front three for Man City. So I had Foden early in the season. I got Grealish in, and then I've taken Grealish out to get Mahrez in. But it's kind of finally dawned on me watching them that those wingers are not wingers anymore. They're almost decoys. They're whip spreaders. They, enable those tens to overlap and make the runs through the middle. You're effectively the front three when they play this 4-2, 3-2-4-1 is the number 9 and occasionally one of the 10s. It's those two guys in the 2 10s that are gonna end up being the ones in the box. Whereas historically, Mahrez, if you knew Mahrez was going to play the amount of games he was playing, well, first half of the season, he averaged like 0.5 XG per game. Now he averages about 0.2 XG per game when he plays.
Yeah.
Because he's out there. We're seeing it a little bit with Salah. We'll get to Salah in the similar formation is not getting the level of XG he's doing. And you therefore are much more of an assist person. Yeah. Now Salah still has pens, and as the game changes, he ends up further forward, which bumps up some of his goals. But for Mahrez, he stays out wide, and he stays out wide for the whole game, or he comes off. And therefore, the wide men aren't the productive force that they would have been in previous seasons. It's kind of that number 10, which does make me think if Gundo is still about the start next season, or even for that last game, and we know he's potentially going to play, he's a really, really, really good punt. I've seen it before with Gundo. When they had to play one game a week, he could play. I know they've offered him this new contract. If he takes it, I just want to try and keep reminding myself that the wingers are not part of a front three anymore in Man City like they used to be. For Chelsea, I do hope they price Chelsea similar to like what they did for Man United, where we had a Rashford at a ridiculous price. We might get a few of those for Chelsea because we're looking around at most of the other team, and they're all going to go up, aren't they? Brighton guys are going to go up. Arsenal guys are going to go up. Obviously, Haaland's going to be. You really hope they try and make the game unbelievably difficult at Haaland's price. But Chelsea, they're going to have to be pretty damn low in prices to generate some picks. Because we've got no idea what we're facing into next season.
Yeah. I'm just seeing the chat. Apparently they've got me in one ear and you in the other ear. So it's not going to be any good for anybody listening in one ear with one headphone in, because they're only going to get half the pod. I've just changed something. So I'm hoping that that's worked. I don't know, because I'm not an audio guy. So I'll have to figure it out later. But yeah, hopefully that's fixed it. If not, I'm so sorry. Yeah, we'll know once you start talking. I am talking.
Well, maybe they mean me. Maybe they mean me for the other side. So therefore, if you're in both ears or not.
Yeah, I gotcha.
That is
saying that's better. Oh, see, I'm a genius.
Well, we've now got one game left. Spin away.
Is that all we've got? I don't even know. Or are you just making the joke?
What kind of, even if Haaland didn't play in Wednesday night, what kind of percentage owned do you think he's going to be on the weekend?
190.
Do you?
Yeah, I just think people will just do it. People did it this week as well. People knew that there was a risk that he would drop down this week.
It's a double with Haaland. I think a lot of people on the fixture don't really look at it. As soon as they see 2 matches, they're like, Haaland, 2 matches, captain.
This is true. But you're talking about top 10k here. I don't think people in top 10k are just clicking buttons, right? They're not.
No, but it's anyone that's just slightly. We have all this thing now, like stuff, if you're just out, if you're like 12,000, if you're 25,000, if you're 55,000, if you're 110,000, whatever. I'd be interested to see what it is, but he's probably still going to be 160, 170, I think. But have you given any thought to capping Haaland this weekend?
No, none. Can't bother with it. Mate, I'm 220k. I can't be bothered.
Well, let's
Is
talk
my
about different captain options.
is my sound still not good? I know I'm going back to it.
I think it says fine. Everyone says fine. It says
Well,
fixed.
yeah, somebody says fixed. I'm not so
It's
good apparently,
fixed.
but yeah, whatever.
It's fixed.
Si, senor.
Um,
I was how inevitable was that goal?
Inevitable. Inevitable. But even
I
then,
was more
that's what was
surprised
on
he didn't start, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, do you think he has to start that last game now? Bobby, he's
But
got to, hasn't
surely it would have been the home game. Surely the home
he?
game would have been the one. I don't think so. I mean, look, if there's still a chance, right, that Liverpool get in the Champions League, like he doesn't start for me. I mean, obviously that's dependent upon how United get on in the week against Chelsea,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I suppose so. I mean, good old Hackpo, again, we're looking around at midfield partners. If I knew he was starting, it's not a bad option, but just kind of think Bobby must play. At least most of it. um, it, start him and then take him off because he's going to come on otherwise, isn't he? But I would, if I was Klopp, sentimental reasons,
I don't know.
I'd start him and take him off and let him get the ovation.
I don't know. No, he's had his emotional farewell, isn't he? I know that's the last home game, but whatever. But he's had his emotional farewell, and that's it.
We've got the standard, by the way, post 60, Trippier top bonus.
Yeah, I see that.
Absolutely standard. Absolutely standard. Here's what it is.
16 crosses is why.
16 crosses.
Three accurate crosses. He's going to get better if he gets one or two more successful passes. He'll breach 90% as well. So,
oh God,
yeah, it's going to be tough. I don't know who else is up there, but
Barnes is going to take him, mate. Barnes is going to come on and take him. Don't you worry about that.
I hope not, because I need. I mean, Pope hasn't made any saves yet. I mean, well, Leicester haven't had the ball, have they?
You're still going to lose. You're still going to lose more. You're going to lose. You're still not really going to gain. Not off a 9-point Trippier.
Was he 30% this week?
No, 50% still.
Was he?
Yeah. You're still not. There's still not a lot of gains to be made on it.
I don't have trips though. Hold on, what do you mean?
Well, you're going to lose. You're going to lose an effective 4.5 points against Trippier.
Yes, but I'm going to gain an effective 5.5 points with Pope.
Yeah, so you're not really going to gain.
Oh, if we concede.
That's what I'm saying is.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is regardless, it's not. You're not going to change the world with a Pope clean sheet here.
Right. Well, let's just get a penalty save then.
Penalty save. Now we're talking.
Now we're talking. Anyway, back to this game.
So Liverpool at home created 0.75 xG.
Well, I mean,
in 100 minutes, because it was a 100-minute game.
Yeah, it's not great, but I think if you got Salah and Trent, then you're set, right? You're not doing anything else.
No, but I think a huge amount of people. Like I moved off Salah, but with the vision that I could probably just go back to him if I really wanted to cap him, because he's obviously playing Southampton, which is that's the carrot away. But I don't know now. I looked at this and was like, am I seeing enough from Mo to make me happy to cap him?
You're not bringing him in if you're not capping him, are you?
No. You wouldn't bring him in if you're not going to cap him. No, you bring him in to cap him. But are we seeing enough here to cap him? I don't know, because Bobby definitely will play some minutes.
He was certainly the most far forward player of any of them, considerably as well. If you look at his positional touch map, he was out of all the games. I mean, he was basically in the box.
This is kind of a perfect game for them because Villa play a high line. You would have expected him to have breached it all day long.
Yeah.
You'd have expected him to run on to loads of things and got loads of high positions and done loads of goals and done that stuff. And he didn't. you know, and the return in the end he gets is a really good cross because he's a really good player. But yeah, I'm not sure I'm convinced that he's the best captain option for this week. I mean, not compared to an Everton defender, certainly.
No, of course not.
Of course.
See, you're moving my way. I like it. Moving to my way of thinking.
Um, and other than that,
I've already prepped the wheel.
because because of the Bobby thing, I don't think I could possibly go. I don't think I could go Gakpo this week. And then you can't really trust the minutes of anyone else. So, yeah, Villa, well played, you know, and they're obviously going for Europe. I think, is Watkins a cap option against Brighton?
No, Brighton still need points to make sure they get Europa, right?
I don't think anyone's going to want it more than Villa. You know, Villa, European, Villa have been champions of Europe, like, and they will massively, massively want that seventh place.
Well, to be fair, actually, yeah, Brighton don't need it. Brighton are sixth,
Nah.
aren't they? If you look at goal difference.
Tony Bloom was in the old. It's in the video. Tony Bloom was in the changing room saying, "We're sixth now. Thanks very much. Done a really good job. See you next season."
Wilson off.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not. Look, expected goals for Mo was 0.1 at home for Villa.
Yeah, nothing. I've got no desire to bring him back in.
Well, I suppose the last game we're going to come to is probably Southampton, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Where are we? Hold on. Yeah. Let's move on. So if I close that, we've got two.
Oh, we've got two left.
Yeah. So hold on. If we get C Senor, I'll just spin it again because I wanted to close it. Can finally use those air miles.
Mate, you have done me on these things this week.
It's brilliant.
What have we got here? Hold on.
Can finally
Fulham Palace?
How would that have anything to do with air miles?
I don't know.
What's the other game?
We've got Fulham Palace, Brighton, Southampton.
Okay, relate air miles to Brighton. Where do they play?
Oh, the Amex.
I'm so cryptic.
So cryptic. This is way too cryptic for my world, mate. I've just been on a long flight. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well,
Big
they can
boy.
finally use their air miles.
I mean, he's really obvious. Ferguson is really, really obvious to compare to a young Kane, isn't he? He's really obvious.
Kane, Rooney,
Yeah,
very
Shearer.
much. Yeah, all same cloth.
Just a bully.
Yeah, and just hits the ball hard.
You just know he's going to be good for a long time.
Yeah, he's going to be very good.
And yeah, just even that, like there's no finesse on that first goal. It's just I'm just going to hit it really hard.
Yeah, just smash it.
I know I'm facing Southampton. They've got no keepers. They've had to get rid of Bazunu because he was 17 under next year, whatever it was. So stick old man McCarthy in. I'm just going to boot it at him.
Yeah.
There's Matoma trying all his fancy finishes early on and stuff like that. You're like, stuff that. Just punt it through the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did Matoma not fall?
Well, I didn't see, of all of the, maybe I missed it on Match of the Day, but I didn't see the Matoma chance. Like loads of people were talking about it because I
back pass. Well, no, pass out from McCarthy. So they put the press.
Oh, okay.
McCarthy misses the pass straight to him, and he just runs straight at him. And if anything, he was running because he's on the pass run, because on the press run. Sorry, he's running really fast. So he just dinks it past him, and it just rebounds off the post.
Okay,
but
fair enough.
Here's what it is. He had a chance before that as well, so he could have easily braced before the first goal, but. All really, 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 really good players.
Yeah.
Loads of really good players. Loads of really good teams. They're a juggernaut, aren't they? 2.5 XG again.
Yeah. But where do they go from here, like next season? I mean, I don't think you've got your Brighton players for next week. If you've already got them, you've got them. You're not bringing any in, etc., etc. Where do they go next season? I mean, because they've got a lot of very good technical players that seem to work well in this really cohesive unit, and they have to strengthen. Like they've got no option because they're playing in Europe next season. They'll do well in Europe next season if they play anywhere near as good as this. Europa League will be a good run for them, but
Yeah,
there's going to be an extra 20 games in there or some whatever it is.
which could
That's
be
a
more.
lot of football.
Could mean more rotation. Is
But who are you
is
rotating to? Like, this is my problem. This is my thing. Like, they don't have.
well, they got their young lads to do stuff, but they'll buy some because they're gonna sell McAllister for a load of money.
This is true, yeah.
Um,
But if
and
they
they'll
lose
somehow,
McAllister and Caicedo together, because it's likely
yeah,
they'll
but
move both.
even if they do, they'll pick up like 10 players for 10 million each, and they'll all be brilliant again, and they'll do it again because.
I'm interested to see how it will work for them. I mean,
The system they play works really well for them. We just have to remember that they create a lot of XG. Ferguson will get again for under 6.5 million. So it'll be 6.5, something like that. Matoma will be more like 7.5, and then we have decisions to make around him at that sort of price. March will probably still be like 7, won't he? 6.5, 7. Yeah, they've bought João Pedro. They've got him, but he's just going to take Welbeck's minutes, really.
Yeah.
Gross will be another year older, but still probably be the best playmaker in the game. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Carl will ideally they try and sign.
Yeah.
But I suspect they don't because I expect it he will be absurd money because he's at Chelsea, But they'll find reasons.
Chelsea won't need him. Chelsea won't need him, will they?
They won't need him, but they also because the fair play need to sell some players, and get some good money, and they'll get 50 million for Cole Will by selling him somewhere that's not Brighton.
Yeah, true.
And they're back. Not when they can just play Webster.
Yeah.
They're always going to be better to go spend 10, 15 million or get a loan signing or do something else that'll work for them. Yeah. They've got Brighton. They've got Villa last game away the last season. I think a lot of people are looking at maybe selling them. I think the good thing is they'll play. I'm pretty sure they'll play. I'm pretty sure even McAllister being off, they'll still play them. They'll still play Matoma.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about moving those on, I would very much wait as late as possible for leaks before moving them on, because
leaks are going to be ridiculous this week.
Every single game they get over 2 XG. They find ways.
They've been absolute monsters, particularly post World Cup, just absolute monsters.
Just sensational. We just got to make sure we keep having pieces of it.
Yeah. Oh look, didn't even go back to Cessignon. We got banging header, which is obviously the Fulham versus Palace game. Like what a header!
What a header!
Like it's ridiculous header. I can't believe how much free space he had.
Unbelievable. And then we get a Joel Ward goal at the end. Yes. 0.88 XG.
0.88 XG. He totaled up like 1.5 XG in about 10 seconds. Because they've been together.
They made it a fun game. The fact that they made it a fun game does push me a little bit on Bruno Cap, if I'm honest, that last game of the season. Again, this is what you're looking at these teams and thinking, who's going to deliver the 7? There's always 7-goal thrillers in the last game of the season.
There's a 5-3 somewhere.
Man United Fulham could easily be that kind of game. Easily be that kind of game. But Palace, they've got it in them too. I think there's, because of the price of Eze, a lot of people are just going to go Eze. I think. Yeah. I think it's going to. I think he's going to be a popular transfer of a McAllister to Eze. I think that's going to be a.
And Forest have been relatively weak away from home.
And are done.
Now. They're fully done. They're safe.
Yeah.
They're safe. Anything else to add on this game? Nothing really. I don't think so.
So we're not going to punt on Metro as a. I've got nothing against it. I don't know. As much as it's the fun, if you offered me Eze or Rodrigo, I think I would still go Rodrigo over an Eze or Decore. I'd go someone that's got the chance that could do something in a game where it really matters.
Yeah, there's not many of those games left now. I mean, it is just
Yeah.
it's probably just those two games
Do
or
you
the three
think
games,
there's
the Leicester.
do you think there's an argument though that those that have stuff to play for might be more boring games because of that? Because, if Everton go 1-0 up, they're going to want to do everything they can to stay 1-0 up. If Leicester do, it could be the same on that one. If, even Villa, Villa try to protect it. If Villa go against Brighton, they're just going to want to try and camp.
Yeah,
There is a
there's
chance,
arguments
obviously,
both
that
ways.
there's
Well, no,
arguments
there's arguments
you
both
could
ways. I think.
grind it.
Yeah, I think it's almost like and we always have to reference Tottenham, always, but it's like the Tottenham of old, where you think like we'll go one up or we'll get one return, and then it will be game state will depend on how the rest of that game goes. Because if
Mm.
Everton go 1-0 up, like what's Bournemouth's appetite really to try and kick on
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
prevent that from being
Yeah.
away from home, safe? Like they couldn't care less, could they?
Yeah, they're probably not doing the old bring Kiefer Moore at half time and
No.
like be sticking it all up top.
But if it's 1-0
um,
to Bournemouth, then then it's like the Alamo, right?
yes,
I
that's
mean,
when the
like
fun happens, isn't it?
Coleman's coming off Duncan Ferguson and shit like that. It's going to be mental. It's going to be all sorts of crazy stuff going on.
So as it stands, you're potentially bringing in an Everton defender.
Well, it's an Everton player. Defender, I'm not 100% on now. I'm less on Everton defender, but
and potentially capping them.
yeah, why not? Why not?
That was the last game of the season.
Because it's fun.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
It's fun, and then we can say I got 2 points from my captain. I don't care. Game's over. Or I can tweet about it every day for the next month and a half. Somebody tweeted about it earlier on, saying, "What about has anyone really made?" I think it was Flapjack. It was like, anyone really had a big transfer that's paid off in Gameweek 38, etc. Krellin pulled out the Patrick Van Arnholt one from about 5 years ago, and I remember that one because I needed that. I needed that haul to win my mini league, and it was mental. I got 100 points or something like that week. It was nuts.
I remember it.
There were so many goals that week, that last day.
That was brilliant.
Lots of fun.
So Tyrek Mitchell is the way forward for you then. Palace left back.
Palace left back. Yeah, maybe. Does anyone else have any questions in the chat? I mean, there's 63 people here. Normally it's like 250, so we won't hang around for too many questions. But if you have any choices, any random punts, if you are taking a random punt and you're watching this back, just drop it down in the comment. What is your punt for Game Week 38? That's what we want to know. That is what we want to know. That's what we want to know. And if you're not punting, let us know as well, because it means you can tell us about your Jeopardy and mini leagues and your rank stuff. If you're like 102k and you need to jump into the top 100k, you might not go rogue. You might just stay template, and that'll probably be enough. So Heather says I'm free hit 38. Christ, that is a whole new thing.
What
That's fun?
If Man City were rotating everyone, is Bumo an option?
That's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah. I was just looking at them all thinking
home to Man City. Like Brentford at home are good.
The bad bit is the Game Week 38 brings out so many regret. I remember that Van Arnholt one because I didn't do it, because I looked at him and thought, and then I didn't do it because I was like, I ain't doing that in the last game of the week of the season. I'm not betting on a defender. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to regret that all summer. You're going to work out what rank that's going to make you. You're going to do all that stupid stuff. This is the week of doing it. Look,
Yeah.
it's all rolls of the dice last game week. What's the thoughts on hits?
Try not to. Like, it's not going to pay
Yeah.
off, right? I mean, I can always. You might see me on Twitter say, oh, I'm going to do a -4 and stuff. Just don't copy that. Don't copy that because it's stupid, right? I get hits when they've got a longer lifespan, but 1 week
Yeah.
you've got to be damn short. I mean, and it's probably just for a captain as well. I mean, I guess if it's for a captain, I think you could probably say okay. Like if you were going to do, let's say you got that Haaland leak, and you wanted to do something in midfield as well, and you did midfield change plus Haaland to Kane and Cap, then okay, I don't mind that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a late reaction hit, one transfer hit, and it doesn't feel like it's that big. So, like, say for example, it's like your McAllister, their Eze type things. I'm not sure I want to do that for a hit, but if, for example, Haaland wasn't there and it enabled you, what you wanted to do was bring in a Bruno, a Salah, someone big, and then say an Alvarez, change Haaland to Alvarez, and then give you the money to send someone up to a massive option, then I get those type of ones because it's almost like a
well, you play the ownership's shifting as well, so you kind of should move really because like a 190 Haaland. Let's assume Haaland's fit and Haaland's leaked to be playing 190. As far as I'm concerned, he's going to be 190. If he's not, he's going to be. If he's leaked as not starting, he'll probably be like
150.
I was gonna say like 40. I thought people would be more.
No, he won't, mate. It'll still happen. I mean, deadlines. Oh my god. Yeah. I think hits. If you've got players out, then I kind of get it a little bit. If you're down a Botman as well, I kind of get it. Most of us have got Botman sitting as like our third on the bench this week. So if you've got two players rumoured out, and you have already made your transfer, so effectively you've got to have like 3 out, I get it. Other than that, I don't think I will. I like the idea of just picking that one plant. A lot of people rolled and got 2 free transfers, so they'll have a bit more fun with it. They're hoping for loads of leaks. I hope there's not. I really hope there's not a load of leaks, but inevitably this season they will. On that note, mate. We'll go watch the last 10 minutes of Newcastle.
Yeah, well, just very quickly, as a very last thing, I just want to say shout out once more again to the guys that do support us on Patreon. So, in no particular order, Andy Martin, Peter Featherstone, Felix44, Alex Holcomb, FPL Sexy, David Graham, Thomas Kahara, FPL California, Kevin Kehoe, Philip, Stephen, Richard Meller, Dan Barnes, Jonathan Cohen, Daniel Locke, Simon Walker. You guys are amazing. We love chatting to you guys on Discord every day. If anybody else wants to come and join us, then you're more than welcome to patreon.com/AboveAverageFPL. Hit like. That's all we really need you to do, to be honest. Hit like, subscribe, and next week will be the penultimate. No, this week was the penultimate. Next week will be the final one of the season.
I'll get together.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Speak to you guys later.
See you later.
Cheers, mate.